Holy sweet hell. I mean, when it goes to shit, pal, it goes to shit. This is what's fun about the internet. This is what's fun when we do it live.
We'll do it live.
Oh, we will, Bill. We will.
Do it live.
I will write it.
I'll write it,
yes.
and we'll do it live.
Oh, yes. So I've had to independently go back in, restart YouTube, and independently start Facebook or restart Facebook. And in hopes that somehow my... let's see, now we got to dump that. Let's just get out of here altogether. Why not? And do that. Now we'll relaunch again. I don't think anybody's even on right now, but that's better for me. I know where to start and stop and make edits, all that fun stuff. So we'll turn on the Facebook comments now, and we will start the YouTube comments now. I will pull up the action page. We will pull it over. And again, thank God that I did all of the great stuff here of doing this well in advance, only to have it crater on me when it meant the most. Hey, there's Jeff Andreezy, everybody. It looks like we might be back up and running. Hoofa. All right, well, oh my gosh, the second longest listener of this show, Phil Wyatt, Huntsville, Alabama, right here. So anyway, here's what's coming up on the show. Now is me, and we run that through the first interview segment. And then coming up after me is the second Tuesday, 35 past the first hour, regular guest, first time in 2026, Robert Moss. Yes, that'll bring a close to the first hour. Then we move to the second hour where we find two new guests. If you are looking for a technological way to guess charcoal amounts and cook times and weights and different stuff, and it's called the Pocket Pitmaster Pro, Chris Allerton joins the show. 35 past the first hour, or sorry, 14 past the first hour, and then closing it out. Huh. Could we ever get there fast enough? I doubt it tonight. First timer to the show, as I'd mentioned, and perhaps the first time we've had a real live artiste, and, might I add, perhaps one of the most accomplished people we've ever had on the show, artiste or otherwise, Joe Veazey, the BBQ Map. So looking forward to having Joe on. I found out about Joe reading the Robert Moss cue sheet, and I was going to reach out to Joe. I was actually maybe a month or 2 months, or for the past 2 months, I have been meaning to ask Robert about it. And then I was going to fire off an email to Joe and see if he would be interested in coming on the show to talk about it. And then literally the day that I was firing up the blower to shoot him a pigeon note, I got a message from Joe, believe it or not. Said, it's fate. In the new year, or as the old year was closing, and so he is booked here this evening. So that's what's happening on the show. We do have a YouTube poll question of the week. It is not on the YouTubes because I wrote it out once and I haven't wrote it again, so that's going to take some time for me to do. But would you rather never be able to use search engines again or never use smartphone apps again? And there was a percentage that was up there, and honest to God, I just don't remember what the hell it was. But we will start a live poll right now. Would you rather, stand by as we type, you got nothing better to do, never be able to use search engines again, or never use smartphone apps again? Okay. So, no, nix the Googs and cut the wireless. And we'll restart that poll. And as we do a quick check right off the bat, it's 0-0, everybody. Oh, shoot me now. Results of the poll question from whenever I did the last poll question, because remember, last week's show was pre-recorded. Have a great night, Phil, by the way, as you drop out, getting for your 4 a.m. bell call. Believe me, I understand. I'll be getting up at 4 a.m. to head to Denton, Texas tomorrow. Last week, we had new to you content, so we had our first visit with Malcolm Reed. Talked about a lot of great things, so if you missed it, go back and get the first hour. And then the second hour, we had, of course, Sam the Cooking Guy, and we had a great conversation with him. I don't even know how we started the conversation with Sam the Cooking Guy. It was very way off topic, but eventually we got it back to where I wanted to go. Talked about a bunch of cool new things. If anybody has tried out the rib roast cooking method that he used, which I believe it was 5 minutes a pound, 500 degree oven, and you can't use a conventional oven or one that exhausts air. So immediately I can't use mine because mine is very expensive and exhausts hot air out of it. But if you have an older oven, I guess, that doesn't expel heat from it with a fan, just cools down on its own, which probably takes a day. 500 degree oven. He said run it at 500 degrees for the better part of an hour. Make sure you're there. And then 5 minutes a pound. So if you have a 10 pounder, 50 minutes at 500, and then shut the heat off. Let it sit in the oven for 2 hours exactly, and it should come out what he says is a perfect medium rare. Whenever I hear ways of cooking like this, immediately I am apprehensive, I am judgmental, I am all of the things regular human beings shouldn't be if they're nice folks, but I am not a nice folks, evidently, and I'm trying to figure out ways to poke holes in that. My main concern is this. The one thing that I have been trying over the last 2 rib roast cooks, and they have been, not to be redundant, sizable in size, those rib roasts. I've been trying to figure out a way to really in the new ways and all this. 2 guys, and I've only had one of them on the show, but 2 guys called the Grill Dads might have figured it out. I don't know if anybody else has seen their rib roast video. Wait a sec. Hold on. Stand by. No, I closed out of it. Did I? That's that. Yeah, I closed out of it. I apologize if your video is freezing. I don't know. But, getting back to the topic at hand, look, don't tell me the show's fucked up anymore. I can't take it. I'm just going to push through. If we make it to the end, we make it to the end. If not, tune in next week. Bad news, folks. There's no show next week. Maybe I should start in February. How about that? This seems rather ill. If I can get back to the rib roast. So these guys might have come up with the best way to not overcook any portion of the rib roast. Ready for this? And I'm surprised I didn't think of this because I'm pretty smart. Take the rib roast, or have your butcher take the rib roast, and then do the old cut the bones out, and then you're going to do the tie back on. But wait, instead of just normally tying back on, like where he cut away from the meat, invert. Lay the bones down, invert the rib roast. Now the cap is laying on the bone side. What do we know from Meathead? Bones are not heat conductors. They are heat non-conductors. They will protect heat, thusly giving you the best opportunity at not overcooking the rib cap. Now, they shot a whole video doing this method, separating from the bones, turning it over, tying it back on, cooking it to whatever the hell they cooked it to. Taking all that aside, just looking at it from an aesthetics standpoint, I can tell you it was the single best-looking rib roast I have ever seen cooked in my life. Good job, Faye and Mark. And I have to tell you, that inspired me to want to do a rib roast sooner than later. And even though I am very rich, that last rib roast from Mr. Brisket really took it out of the piggy bank, so I have to do a little bit of savings, if you don't mind. But then, and I won't buy a 20-pounder either because we won't have nearly as many people, but I will put that rib roast method to the test. We have it cut off. I will have my own personal butcher of the Barbecue Central show, Aaron Huntelman. Aaron, I almost called you Jason Huntelman. I mean, are we kidding with the show tonight? Jason Huntelman. Hey, bad news, Aaron. Your new name is Jason. How about that? I love it. So I will have Jason Huntelman tie the rib roast back on, except I will have him invert it, so cap down on the bones, then we'll tie it back on. Then I will cook it to whatever normal temperature I cook it to, all in the effort to preserve and not overcook, not even perhaps at all. So it's one color all the way from top to bottom after I re-invert, after we're ready to serve. I thought that was the most clever way of doing a rib roast and protecting the rib cap that I have seen to date. Certainly reverse sear or slow cooking it in does very well. This seems like it might be the smartest thing I've ever heard. And employing a lot of things that Meathead would also agree with. People are agreeing with Meathead, then you know that makes me feel good because Meathead knows everything. Just ask him. So if you haven't seen it, go look at the Grill Dads and specifically search out their rib roast method. I think you might enjoy seeing it. I mean, as I said, it was easily the best looking prime rib I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of rib roasts. I've cooked a lot of rib roasts, and there you go. I still have a lot of open stuff to get to, but we got to just dust it for now. By the way, I didn't thank you as we were coming back. This segment brought to you by Fireboard. Brought to you the makers of Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the all-new Fireboard Pulse wireless. You can visit fireboard.com for more information, or you can call with questions, 816-945-2232. All right, well, I was going to spend most of the segment talking about this.
A Barbecue Central show exclusive.
It showed up a week
update.
ago, and I went to the website, and I could not confirm it. And while I did put a quick Instagram story once I realized this was not coming from a website that I could really confirm, I immediately took my post down and waited, and everybody started talking to me. What do you know? Well, come to find out, today, Smoke Slam pauses to prepare 2027 Unified Barbecue Festival. Now let me read to you. Mempho Presents today announced that Smoke Slam Barbecue Festival will pause this year to allow time for Smoke Slam and Memphis in May World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest to plan and organize a combined event in 2027. Community feedback from sponsors, the business sector, and city leaders has reinforced the need for a singular, unified barbecue celebration rather than competing events on the same weekend. Discussions are underway with multiple Memphis stakeholders to explore options for one unified event to keep fans coming back to downtown Memphis and to the river at Tom Lee Park. Mempho Presents also confirmed that River Beat Music Festival will return to the banks of the Mississippi River at Tom Lee Park from May 1st through May 3rd for its third year in 2026, continuing its rapid rise as the largest music festival in the Mid-South. Just say South. Take it from me, somebody who's a Yank. Don't qualify yourself as Mid-South, or can you be North-South then? West-South, East-South? I mean, shut the fuck up, you're South. Like, get over it. Everybody in the South loves to be South. Now you got to be Mid-South? You're so fucking regional? Give me a break. All right, then we had this. Oh, my God.
You can get
it's
in
a
touch
nightmare.
with the show by sending an email.
Then we had this.
A Barbecue Central show
I gotta quit
exclusive
the show
news
tonight. I
update.
swear to God. All right, Greg Rempe reporting from the Breaking News Desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, yet again. You didn't get enough of me 2 minutes ago? Well, there's more of me right now. In an official statement / rebuttal from the Memphis in May barbecue cooking contest, or the World Championship barbecue cooking contest, from guest of the show, dare I say friend of the show, and new CEO Mac Weaver regarding the 2026 and 2027 World Championship barbecue cooking contest. Quote, Memphis in May, on behalf of the World Championship barbecue cooking contest, acknowledges the announcement of the pause of Smokeslam Barbecue Festival for 2026. At this time, there is, however, no final agreement among key stakeholders regarding the Memphis in May World Championship barbecue contest for 2027. Talks continue, and if an equitable agreement occurs, it will be collaboratively communicated. Does that mean on this show? Memphis in May is focused on continuing to provide a world-class barbecue experience to the Memphis community, as we have done for nearly 50 years. The World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest will take place May 13th through the 16th, 2026 at Liberty Park. Teams are encouraged to continue to sign up now, as our February 16th, 2026 deadline is fast approaching and, dare I say, quickly looming. Thank you. Best regards. Love everybody. Peace out. Mac Weaver. Well, finally, things are looking up. I hit the post on that. Good for me. And by the way, I had a World Barbecue Cup, or whatever the hell it's called, update or take, but ran out of time. Can't get to that. It's fine. It's fine. Serenity now. Insanity in 5 minutes when I get on with Robert Moss. All right. Folks, what do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're ceramic. Yes. We also love that they're fuel efficient, especially in times like now. It's cold out. It's brutally windy. Did I mention it's cold? Snowing. Snowstorms tomorrow through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Boo. Ceramic cookers, when they heat up, the ceramics heat up, and man, oh man, how about this? Saving you fuel, even the worst conditions possible. Unfazed, unshaken, unrelenting, pumping out great end product for you. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? Well, the fact that they're round. You can't execute a two-zone setup with a round ceramic cooker. Don't be foolish. Enter Primo with their game-changing oval design. The shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire, also giving you other ceramic grill benefits as well. All the accessories you need, only sold through dealers. Find a dealer near you, yes. Go to primogrill.com. Do that, visit in person, and then buy. I'm telling you, you're going to thank me so much you won't believe it if you buy one. So great. I love it. All right, we're back with Robert Moss for the first time in 2026. Did I mention it's rapidly coming to a close? Stick around. Be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the BBQ Central Show.
Achieving internet broadcast excellence at I'm breaking my neck speed. We welcome you back to the show. This portion brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet. Available in 3 sizes. Got all the accessories you want. You visit pitrailcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central show sent you. Maybe Amber or Noah will answer the phone when you call. Fingers crossed. For the first time in 2026, it is a contributing editor to Southern Living Magazine on the barbecue side, and our pal Robert Moss, Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. Happy New Year, Robert. Great to have you here. And we have
it's good to be here, Greg.
Yes, great to be having you as always. And we have a new Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week. Would you rather never to be able to use search engines again, or never use smartphone apps again?
It's sort of a tough one, but
Yeah.
having lived in the era where there were lots of search engines and no smartphone apps, I could go back to that. So I think I'd rather have the search engine and not all the apps.
All right. 56%, so very close to 50-50, saying they could live without Google, believe it or not, or search engines, just to be broad stroking, as the question said. They would rather keep the phone. I'm with you. I'm trying to figure out a way where I can realistically get rid of all my cell phones. I have two currently, one work and one personal. And boy, I think it would just be a gas to get rid of that and untether and live like I did in the early 90s, where if I said, hey, I'm going to this place, like people just trusted you were going there. Never mind if you were really going there or not. Like, where's Timmy? He's over at that place. That's where he said he was going. Well, okay. No tracking, no phone call interrupting, no emails interrupting, whatever. But I also don't mind a good search engine, so I would like to keep that as well. Anyway.
Yeah, I still know how to use a paper map, so I could get around,
I'm trying to figure out... that's a whole other rabbit hole we could get into. Starting my life as as an outside sales rep on the huge almanac, like atlas thing, like getting you through all the states, but then the big state of Ohio map that you had to unfold 12 times, and then breaking it down to the pink by county maps that look like they were hand-drawn that we have here in Ohio as well. Maybe they're everywhere else. I don't know. But, reading a map, really a skill that one should have just in case everything goes wrong. So I wanted to ask you about a number of things here this evening, but as we were working through the balance of the day, some things started to firm up, and some other things started to rebut things that were firming up. So let's go ahead and talk about news of the day to see if you have a thought, a take, or any insight on it, which is... only after 2 years of running successive contests, SmokeSlam has hit the pause button in what they are referring to as trying to get a unified barbecue contest, and that would mean trying to bring in Memphis in May to the fold and having one singular barbecue contest that somehow mixes whatever SmokeSlam has been able to create over the last 2 years and incorporate that and mix that with what has been happening in Memphis in May for the last 50 years. Hot take from Robert Moss. Go.
I'm not sure if I have one because I'm just now learning about it, so I didn't have time to really formulate my thoughts. So any take I have is going to be probably lukewarm, but it doesn't surprise me. I don't think it was sustainable to have two barbecue competitions going on in Memphis at the same time, and splitting the audience, splitting the competitors and everything else. So it seems like there should only be one. It does seem like the SmokeSlam, they're going on with a music festival. So it seemed like that was always sort of a music fest paired together. I guess Memphis in May was that way too. But, it seems like the music fest was working out. Maybe the barbecue contest, not so much. So I did think the message from Memphis in May was sort of interesting. So it sounds like this is probably much more of a unilateral thing on SmokeSlam's side, saying that we're not going to do it this year. So, I mean, it's probably a little too early to call the balls and strikes, but it sounds like Memphis in May has come out on top in the sort of the dueling barbecue competitions, at least.
So you would hazard a guess that the financial reward on the barbecue side wasn't cutting the mustard for SmokeSlam?
I would guess that. I mean, I think they threw a lot of money at it, tried to draw some teams over and all that. They wouldn't give it up if they were tunning it on the money side. So I think they probably took a look at it this year. Who knows what logistics they were looking at, when they were having to sign contracts and make commitments, but they're probably up on the hitting the deadlines for having to shell out a bunch of money to stage the contest, and decided just wasn't going to make it this year.
So no offense to SmokeSlam, But if I'm Memphis in May, why do I give a flying F? Like, if you can't do your contest even 3 years in a row, I'm not interested in combining with you at all. I'll take that weekend back. We'll be the singular barbecue contest like we had been for the 2 years prior to when you were running head-to-head against us. And forget about you. You thought you could come in and throw all this money around and potentially take over or maybe swallow us up, and it's proven potentially to be otherwise.
Yeah, the only thing I can see that Memphis and May would want is potentially to get back into Tom Lee Park because it was such a sort of classic
Why?
place to be.
It's a travesty now. They've redone it.
Well, I know,
It's
and
small.
that's
You
the
can't
piece
fit
I
the
don't
teams.
quite
I don't
know
buy
is that whole park bureau or whoever there's running the park and all the fallout.
Memphis River Parks partnership.
Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, I mean, I can see wanting to be back, maybe be back in the river. I can see maybe some leaders in Memphis want to get people back downtown, but I sort of I'm sort of with you on that. I'm not sure what Memphis and May has is really needing at this point. It sounds
By
like
the way,
they're winning.
I mean, I have no proof. I can ask Kevin Grothy in a couple weeks when he comes on here, EVP of Memphis and May Festival, I believe, or Executive Vice President. I don't think the damage bill has actually been settled up yet from like 2 years ago, whenever the last year Memphis and May was in, right as they were freshly done re-landscaping and retooling that whole park, which was supposed to be just like Memphis and May wanted, and hit him with that $750,000 or $1 million damage bill. I think that's still in the works. So again, if I'm Memphis and May, why do I want to shuffle back to Tom Lee Park while I still might have some kind of huge damage bill? Unless we're coming back, because that's being forgiven. How about that? I am using my detective skills.
Yeah, and like I said, it's all fresh. I'm getting the breaking news tonight, but that would not surprise me that there would be some kind of behind the scenes negotiation and settlement if anything was going to happen. Otherwise, I mean, I think Memphis and May's been running fine for 2 years out at the Liberty Park, and why mess with success at this point?
Do you know Memphis and May to be in any kind of financial struggle?
No, I don't know any inside stuff. There was a time a while back when I sort of dug into it when all the whole the big blow up was going on, but I haven't looked at it in probably a year or two. So I know less than you do about it.
All right, so you were a guest on my favorite two-themed podcast. We call it the Baseball and Barbecue, or BBQ, depending on which host you are. Did you have more fun talking about baseball or more fun talking about BBQ or barbecue?
Well, I didn't talk about baseball, so
at all.
At all, no.
Oh,
I'm not really qualified to. I mean, I think I said the word baseball a couple of times, but we talked all about barbecue. If you look at the baseball guys that get on there, why would you want me to chime in on something I know nothing about?
How they had Howard Johnson on, and the guy, all he wanted to do was talk about how to cook a better brisket on his Traeger. Like, I don't want to hear Howard Johnson talking about pork belly burn ends. I want to hear him talking about double plays or great home runs, memorable moments. What's Lenny Dykstra like as a teammate in the locker room? I want to learn all those stories. I don't want to hear baseball players talking about barbecue. But it appears, as I've listened to the show many, many years, most of the high-line baseball players get on, and really all they want to do is start talking cooking. So I didn't know if you were going to flex any baseball wiles on them.
No, my baseball knowledge is probably rooted in the 1990s. I haven't really followed teams lately and all that. So as much I love to watch a game every now and again, but no, I don't feel competent to talk about baseball. So we stuck to barbecue, and we had plenty to talk about. I don't think that show's come out, that episode's come out yet. The YouTube video's out, but I think the podcast hasn't dropped yet. But
all right,
that should be coming out in the next
looking to
week
listen to that today, and I did not find it, so I didn't start to scroll back through the archives, but I'll be
you can find it on YouTube if you want to watch the video Hollywood Squares kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the podcast version's not out yet.
Was it just Len and Jeff, or did they make Doug sit in too?
No, Doug sat in. We had nice conversations, so it was good catching up with Doug.
I feel like it's Doug's show more than it is with the barbecue people. All right, so we're gonna skip.
We talked about you though. We talked about the
Really?
Central show a little bit.
Dear.
So you're in there.
Great. Hopefully all good things. So we're going to skip over regional barbecue styles because, we don't have nearly enough time to go into. So we'll set that aside for February. So we have some other quick hitting things here. A number of years ago, I remember you were really interested in promoting something called the Holy Smokes Barbecue Festival. And then over the last couple of years, I didn't necessarily bring it up to you. You didn't say, hey, can we mention this? But it is something that has continued to reoccur each year. And I know some people that have attended it, and they seem to think it's great. What happened to you and Holy Smokes?
Oh, well, it's still going strong. And I just sort of, I helped organize it and sort of helped get it off the ground the first year, 2 years. But then I got busy and sort of backed out of it. I did go this year. So I'm still, friends with everybody there, and went the night before and hung out with Pitmasters and all that kind of stuff. They just don't really need me at this point. They have a really good events firm that's sort of running everything and have it locked and loaded. So I just couldn't make it for a couple of years, and so I'm not actively organizing anymore. But I did go out there, did a little bit of media around it and all that kind of stuff, but just not actively involved in it other than just now being a guest, which is sort of fun. Let everybody else do all the hard work.
So we talked about Smoke Slam, we talked about Memphis in May. Do you have an opinion, or have you seen the talk up on the $1 Million Barbecue World Cup?
Yeah, I've seen the $1 million talk and the very, very sketchy. I was going to do initially when I heard about it. Actually, I think you heard about it first on your show. And then I went and looked into it. I was going to do a newsletter post. And I was like, well, there's not enough here to really write about yet. It's really, really sketchy. So I'm actually really curious to hear the CEO or the co-founder come on and just sort of learn about it. The most interesting thing, the biggest thing, I did look into the backgrounds of all the people who are running it.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of sports marketing folks who are, a lot of background in professional sports. You've got Dick Ebersol's son, who was involved in a sort of minor league football team briefly. And so they have a checkered career, I'd say, in sports marketing. Don't know what their barbecue background is, if any. I mean, they do have the sort of committee that they've named. That's the competition committee. But I'll be curious to hear a little bit more about how they got into this and why they are turning from, selling NFL corporate tickets to doing a barbecue event.
Do you think having a background in sporting, because they do seem to have, okay, here's the chief technology person, here's the social media person, here's the business person, here's the sponsorship person. So they have varying backgrounds, but again, all from sport, as you said. Does that help in doing this, or do you really need to have the barbecue promotion experience?
That's a good question. I mean, to some extent, you're staging events, but I really think that staging an event is the big thing. And I don't know. I mean, if they're smart, they've got some good event firms or event. There are all kinds of event coordination type firms you can put on big events. That's important. I don't know the marketing side, and again, where's the money coming from? That's what a piece I'd be very curious. I feel like that's a very different world, sports marketing, than barbecue. And typically you would be going out for these big events and going to get corporate sponsorships and things like that. And it's just a different world, unless they've got like the Kingsford overlap with the NFL or something like that. And maybe they have some partnerships in the background that they haven't announced yet. It's so sketchy that at this point, everything's really speculation about just about every single detail of the event at this point. So I really can't make out how baked the plan is. And maybe they have a massive plan that's ready to roll out. But it seems like they raised their website out there and with that $1 million number, and that's basically all I've really got, except for the list of some pretty impressive people on the competition committee that they've recruited from the competition world.
So in 2 weeks' time, we will have the CEO and co-founder on the show, and hopefully we can ask him all the questions. Hopefully he has all the answers. To your point of it seems a little sketchy, you go to the website, they had a big round of social media people talking about, hey, if you want to take part in $1 million, some, big names-ish, I guess. Some of them do have experience in putting on competitions. Christy Vanover, one specifically. I jokingly say she's the one that's spearheading all of this, but it's tongue-in-cheek. I just happen to know her a little bit. Yeah. So she's getting thrown under the bus here. Personally, I think this is a tad reckless to do this kind of a rollout of social media. It felt a little Traeger-y to me, except Traeger actually has the product to put out and sell when they do all this. But you do the round of social media, you have a website, and you have zero information on the website. To this day, as of 20 minutes ago, if you click on the events that qualify for it, comes up as, you come back later. We got nothing.
Yeah, well, that's every frequently asked question on their 82 frequently asked question list has come back later, which
yes
seems really kind of odd. I mean, having been spent a good bit of my life in sales and marketing and product launches and things like that, you typically don't want to launch until you have product on the shelves, as they say. So if you can't go and actually sign up or buy anything or anything else, you're generating, I guess, some buzz, but it's, the timing's not really the way I would do it. But again, Monday morning quarterbacking, I guess. But I'll be curious to see what happens with this thing. It could be great. Who knows? It's just right now we're speculating.
I think you had a really good run up of interest, and then over the last couple of weeks, that has waned off. There's been little to no update. They might have had maybe 2 qualifying contests, but I couldn't name them because they're not posted anywhere, of course.
Yep.
And then we don't know what the rest of the year looks like. Teams need to make their plans. Maybe they wanted to go to one place, but now maybe something around the same area is going to be a qualifier. I mean, there's a whole number of rabbit holes that we could go down on this. So I'm a little unsatisfied with the lack of overall information, not to mention how is it actually being funded. When is the actual main event taking place, aside from sometime in 2027 in Las Vegas?
So in Las Vegas, that doesn't really, mark your calendar now for all of 20. I don't know, sometime in 2027.
Take all the days off and be ready to go.
Right.
Yeah. What's a roast squab?
It's a roasted pigeon, actually. I saw that on your list. I have no idea why you're asking me what a roast.
It was
squab
it was on your newsletter.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. You write it, right?
Yeah, I've eaten. Yeah, but I don't even remember talking. What was I writing about roast squab in relationship to?
Now you're gonna have to ask me to remember.
I have to go search it real quick. Yeah. So squab is just pigeon. It's a fancy name for pigeon, and you can cook it like dove or any other kind of.
I didn't think you were allowed to eat pigeon.
Oh, you certainly can. Now here in South Carolina, we happen to have the Palmetto Pigeon Plant in Sumter, South Carolina, which at one point was the largest pigeon or squab producer in the entire United States. And there are some restaurants in Charleston where you can get squab on the menu. In fact, squab is sort of like an old, people have been eating it for a long time. But it's pigeon.
Does it taste akin to pheasant or other birds?
Yeah, it's sort of in that. It's in that camp or quail.
Quail, yeah.
I think sort of similar to a quail. It's sort of like a dark meat chicken, sort of a dark, denser meat
You've
chicken.
Had it?
I've had it. Yeah, like I said, there are several restaurants in Charleston where you can get it right now. We do have I think it's Sumter. The Palmetto Pigeon Plant up in Sumter is still the largest producer of squab in the country. So
wow, I've never seen pigeon available for sale to eat in my life.
And now I'm wondering what the heck I was writing about roast squab for. But I'm sure it came up on a restaurant menu somewhere.
Yeah, it was. Wasn't something that you specifically typed, but there was some image.
Oh, was it on the menu at that barbecue down in Augusta?
Maybe
is
that's
that where
it was.
Yeah, they had all kinds of crazy things on that menu. So maybe that's where it came up, was a barbecue menu back in the 19th century.
You ever made your own king cake?
No.
You ever had king cake?
I've had king cake. I am sort of on record as being opposed to king cake, unless you're in New Orleans. Because it's one of these things that is a New Orleans tradition. It's long been a New Orleans tradition, and it started spreading outside of New Orleans. You're starting to see it here in Charleston. Again, this is I wrote a little snarky piece about it, I guess, in the newsletter, because king cake is actually related to a French. I can't remember what it's called, galette de roi, whatever it's called. But a 12th night cake. There was a sort of a tradition in France that came over to New Orleans on Epiphany, so January 6th, the end of the 12 days of Christmas, which happens to be the beginning of the carnival season down in New Orleans, and that's January 6th was a traditional day. Everybody would eat their king cake, and they ended up with this tradition of putting a little plastic baby Jesus inside the cake.
Yeah.
A whole long story there. And then over time, it sort of spread out through January, February, all the way through Carnival. And so people in New Orleans will eat king cakes all the way up until Mardi Gras, which is the beginning of Lent, when you have to stop all your feasting and festivities. Somehow that's left New Orleans, and it came to Charleston about 10 years ago. Now all these bakeries in Charleston will soon be selling king cakes, but they aren't doing it yet, even though January 6th is now well behind us.
Yeah.
Because for some reason they've pegged it all to Mardi Gras. And so it's something that they all sell right before Mardi Gras, which sort of like chaps my hide, because if you're going to bar the tradition, at least do it on the right day. And let's it's sort of turning Mardi Gras into sort of like Cinco de Mayo or something like that. This one day where you go out and just drink a lot, and it has no connection to anything else going on here in Charleston. So no, I don't make king cake. I don't have a recipe for it. I won't be buying one. And nothing against it. If I was down in New Orleans, I'd be gorging on it and getting ready for the carnival season. But
follow the rules, for crying out loud.
That's right.
Yeah, Robert Moss. Overall,
and they should be selling
tonight.
shrimp and grits in New Orleans. They shouldn't be doing king cake here in Charleston.
They sell shrimp and grits here in Cleveland.
I know, it's shrimp and grits is everywhere. That used to 20 years ago, you never would see it outside of South Carolina. People wouldn't even know where to get grits from, much less how would they get shrimp. But now it's all over the place. So that's a Charleston original that has now gone national.
We are talking with Robert Moss, by the way, and you can find him at robertfmoss.com. Sign up for that cue sheet. It's absolutely spectacular, and the other stuff that he's writing about, too. Robert, appreciate the time. Hopefully next month, a little bit more together and with it, and we will hit the agenda as planned.
Sounds good. I'll talk to you then.
Take care. Robert Moss right there. A professional's professional, of course, and we are getting ready to break out here. We're catching up. We're getting there. All right. Where's that one at? There it is. Well, we're pretty close to where I need to break out anyway, so let's go ahead and move that one right there. I think we should be all set. We'll come back to wrap the first hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Robert Moss for joining us last segment. RobertFMoss.com is his website, so be sure to check that out. Subscribe to the cue sheet. Subscribe to everything else. His writing is great. He's great on this show, but I'm going to say his writing is better, but it is equally entertaining and informative and well-researched, and all the stuff you have come to know and love about Robert Moss here on this show, he puts in his writing. No surprise. We are heading to the second hour. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
Boing.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude.
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 2 feet or wiener.
Oh, listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. It is the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. If you missed the first hour, goo for you. Boy, that was a nightmare. We're back on track. Still to come on this show this evening, Chris Allerton, creator of Pocket Pitmaster Pro. And after Chris, we have Joe Veazey from Veazey Studio and the BBQ Map, veazeystudio.com, and then click on shop if you want to check it out. That's Veazey, Veazey, veazeystudio.com, and then click on store, top of the header, and you can check out the barbecue map that we're talking about as we close the show here this evening. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of the video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/@BBQ Central Show. You can also go to youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We have a new Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. Would you rather never be able to use search engines again or never use smartphone apps again? And currently 54% of you are saying you would like to nix the googs. So you cannot live without your smartphone. I and Robert Moss believe that we could live without our smartphones because we did that for the first 23 years of our lives. So we're, I don't want to say used to it. We're probably more used to having the phone now, of course. But we certainly lived a lion's share of our lives sans phones. And really sans computers for the most part. The good old days, as old people call those. So 54% of you are saying no on the Google. And that's fine. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less. This coming Friday, episode 416, bringing you back to September 29th of 2009. Wow, this is an old one. This week, featuring a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer, and perhaps most importantly, the most important job one could ever have, my mom. Now, within this appearance, it also appears to be the first time that I entitled that recurring segment that we had done for a while, Connie's Recipe Corner. I was just having my mom on. She was sharing recipes. Appetizer, main dish, dessert. We would do it once a month. And then I thought we needed to come up with a gimmick, so we called it Connie's Recipe Corner. And I said, hey, with it, you'll hear it Friday. I said, hey, I'm thinking of a name. What do you think about Connie's Recipe Corner? And then, of course, she was like, oh, yeah, it's the best thing ever. And away she went. And then she lands in the Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Fame. So within the segment, obviously, we're talking about recipes. They are fall-themed recipes. So while many of us are in the teeth of winter at the moment, might be nice to try out some fall-themed recipes. And while she doesn't give you the whole run during John's Best Moments show, you can click on the link that takes you back to the full show. And you'll be able to get all of the recipes if you would like to do it. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Best Moments Show or this show by visiting thebbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And if you would like to hear a past guest or segment that you've heard on the show but you feel has been lost in the archives, email John and let him know what you would like to hear, like our pal Tyler did when he ran 5 or 6 weeks of barbecue roundtables, brought those back to light, unearthed those relics, and made them famous once again. John's email, by the way, John, Jon, at thebbqcentralshow.com. And you can put in your request. He'll do his best to meet your expectation. Now, how about this? We're, 2 weeks outside of Christmas. Maybe you haven't gotten to all of your holiday returns. And here's what I have to say to you. Holiday returns still got you in a funk weeks outside of the actual holiday itself. How about this? Outsource it. That's right. A website called Return Queen. For $10 a return, or like everything these days that you buy on the internet, you could subscribe and save cash dollars for $20 a month, or to subscribe for the entire year and then save an additional $40, because if you're doing $20 a month and there's 12 months in the year, we know that's $240 just to line you up for getting all of your returns handled in your life. You can save an extra $40 if you just pay for it all up front. $200 a year, and you can outsource your returns. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you're a big Amazon buyer. Let's say you're a big online buyer. Why not? Let's say every once in a while you might go to the store. Okay. You decide you don't want something that you bought online. Happens all the time. Returns are very easy on Amazon, of course, if you're into that. But let's say you can't even be bothered with such nonsense. You go to Return Queen, you pay your $200 a year, or your $20 a month, or your $10 per return. And obviously, if you're going to return more than 2 things every month, then you should just be paying the $20 per month. Here's what you do. You gather up all your returns. You can stick them in a big-ass trash bag if you want. Any bag. Stick it outside. Schedule your pickup. Return Queen comes and gets it off the front of your house. And you don't even need to tell them anything. Somehow, through the magic of magic, they can find your return labels. They will package it up for you. And then they will send it back to the vendor from whence you purchased. Or if you got it online, or if you got it in person, and it meets whatever certain guidelines they have for returning it in person, you don't have to go to the mall. No, sir. You can have Return Queen do it for you. They will wait in the lines at the stores and do the returns for you. So I'm asking you this, as discernible, recreational, and discriminatory dollars become tougher and tougher to come by. Are you paying $200 a year to be on the Return Queen list? Because you know right off the top of your head that $200, the ROI on that $200 for the year is going to be a quick payoff. You're somebody that's online, you're ordering because you're depressed, and ordering things online and getting shit shipped to your house makes you feel good, and then it shows up at your house, and then what? You have buyer's remorse, so then you got to return everything, and it's a vicious cycle. Here's a way to break the cycle. You don't have to return it at all. Paid that $200 to Return Queen in the beginning of the year. You just throw everything in the boxes or the bags that it came with and just shovel it all back outside. Schedule the pickup by Return Queen, and boom, they just magically take care of it. You're alerted as the returns happen. And then tomorrow, when your next round of buying to hopefully cure your depression shows up, and you repeat the cycle again, you can just kick everything back out on the front porch. Why not? Seems like a great idea to me. Perfect. I love the way they have positioned the subscription model, making it look like the way more attractive option. I believe out of all the subscriptions, because what happens? You subscribe to something, what's the hope from the person you're subscribing to? Oh, I hope they get it and use it all the time. No, they don't. They want you to give them they want them to give you your money. They want you to give them your money and then hope you forget about it, right? Yes, of course. If I had a subscription service, that's exactly what I would want to have happen. Pay me $200 to listen to the show. I hope you forget about the show, and that you also forget that every January you're going to renew. Oh, sorry, we renewed. You got to cancel it for next year, but you get all the rest of the year. Subscription, very good, Return Queen, because quickly $10 a return adds up, right? I mean, I'm no math scientist, but if I'm doing 10 returns at $10 a pop, carry the one, I believe that's $10,000, right? You're right. It would make sense that even just doing the $20 for that 1 month that you might be very busy at would be cheap. Return Queen. What will you people think of next? Anyway, Chris Allerton is in the green room, and we'll get to him here in just 1 second. Before we do that, Big Papa Smokers is here to remind you it's a new year, and then you should be looking at new barbecue goals. Fire up your flavor game with Big Papa Smokers, your one-stop shop for championship barbecue seasonings, like the award-winning Sweet Money Rub, the competition favorite brisket and steak rub, my personal veggie favorite rub, Desert Gold. I also like jalapeno, Hallelujah jalapeno. I also like Little Louie's seasoned salt. Now that I think about it, that might be my favorite rub of all. No, it's Sweet Money. No, it's Little Louie's. Can it be both? Whether you're cooking for trophies or for the neighborhood, make sure this year you master bold, unforgettable flavors. Shop now at BigPapaSmokers.com. That's BigPapaSmokers.com. And use promo code REMPE26 at checkout to get free shipping. That's REMPE26, all together, no spaces, REMPE26 at checkout to get free shipping. Exclusions apply. Again, BigPapaSmokers.com, promo code REMPE26 to get free shipping. Big Papa Smokers, real barbecue, real results. We're back to talk Pocket, Pitmaster, Pro. Stick around.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we welcome you back. I think I could ditch that. Well, we had a tragic first hour. So, tragedy either ensues in the second hour or we put it behind us. Gang, technology is changing and evolving rapidly. Why not use these tools to help out when you are getting ready to cook outdoors, live fire, or even in the house? My first guest in the second hour has just launched an app with a website soon to follow in hopes of helping you figure out a lot of these things before you even start cooking. We race to the hotline and welcome first-time guest, creator of the Pocket Pitmaster Pro, Chris Allerton, to the show. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Greg. How are you?
I'm fine, and we have a Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody before we get started here this evening. Chris, would you rather never be able to use search engines again or never use smartphone apps again?
I think this is a trick question, Greg.
No.
This is a trick question. I'm showing you an app. Well, I mean, of course, this is a trick question.
Yeah,
but of course, I was around before, the internet, so I could honestly, I could live without either. I was around.
53.
I'm a 70s baby.
53% of the YouTube voting public are saying they will cut the wireless. So it was nixing the Googs before.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in the midst of my Robert Moss conversation, the tides turned and people are cutting out the phones. I am a phone denier, if at all possible, but it is part and parcel of human condition these days. Anyway, so we're having you on. We're going to be talking about Pocket Pitmaster Pro. But we have some shared things in common. Number one, you are a fellow Buckeye, which we certainly appreciate. Are you a long time? Are you a forever Buckeye, or did you make your way to the state of Ohio?
No, I'm a forever Buckeye. I was born and raised in Columbus, so yeah, I'm definitely born and bred OH. So yeah.
Also,
I did.
and perhaps even more importantly than us sharing a state of residence, actually, way more important. I graduated from and attended. You also attended Ohio University, not Ohio State. Fuck you, Buckeyes, with your the Ohio State University. What do we all know to be true and factual? Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, the first college ever founded in the state of Ohio. So Columbus, take whatever jealousy you have, put it in your pipe, and smoke it. What was one thing or one big influence and memory that you can remember from Athens that you might think have shaped your entrepreneurial spirit today?
Just actually seeing Court Street on Halloween. Like that, honestly, I mean, I guess you say remember, I kind of remember
tongue in cheek.
Halloweens. Yeah. I was there, I think. I think I was there. So, but yeah, that's, I mean, you know, spending time at the greenery and just really good times down there. Like clearly too good at times. I left OU and went to, you know, Tampa to go finish culinary school. So, yeah.
So were you somebody that was always interested in food around it, or did you grow into an interest?
No, I was raised, I had a little short New York Jewish grandmother that just loved to cook, and she loved to show it. She showed me, you know, basically how to cook meat. I mean, just basically like brisket, especially. She definitely was big into brisket, being, you know. But yeah, I learned there. And then of course I started throwing parties in high school, and I built a grill to put over top of my fire pit, which was 6 foot deep. And we would throw, you know, steaks and burgers on and everything like that while, you know, we're enjoying our libations.
So you end up in Tampa. Do you graduate eventually?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We sure do. I'm actually in a little celebratory mood this evening. I'm officially a village councilman.
Are you? Look at you.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Congrats.
Yeah, and I also just signed a deal to open a restaurant today. So
wow,
we are rocking and rolling, Greg.
We
are really
new political life. You have a new financial scary life with the restaurant. We all know about restaurants, yes, but you have the educational background behind you, so hopefully that serves you well. Is it a barbecue restaurant, or what's the fare?
I'm going to actually be running the entire program, and it's actually out of a place called Connections West, and they do rehabilitation for folks that have been incarcerated. Mm-hmm. I'm going to run barbecue out of there for a while, and we are actually going to open a cafe after probably about March. We're going to open up a full cafe so that those guys can come in. I'm going to teach a serve safe class to them so they can have some real life, you know, experience. You know, we're going to get them into the restaurant and just kind of create, I guess it would be like a funnel to other restaurants and things like that. So we're doing a lot of good things here.
Do you have a other than just being a magnanimous individual, do you have a tie back to jail or prisons or anything like that you said, hey, when I have the ability to potentially help people re-enter the workforce, I want to be able to provide something?
You might say that. I was the food service director for a prison here locally and in the Lancaster area. And there was a lot of folks in there that, you know, they were good people. They had bad days. I mean, of course, there were the bad people, but, you know, there were some good people in there that just legitimately had bad days or a bad go. And, you know, those guys deserve a shot, just like we've all, you know, we all could have ended up somewhere we shouldn't have been. So, you know, so that's where I'm at. I'm trying to, you know, just do this as more of a, you know, I want to teach. Like, that's the main thing. I want to teach. I want to teach these guys.
All right, so let's merge over into Pocket Pitmaster Pro here. Finish up with that. Before we dive into the tech, let's talk a little fire and smoke. What was your aha moment with outdoor cooking, and what was the main frustration in your own cooking process that led you to think there might be a better way?
Well, my own aha moment was watching that Cajun guy. I can't remember his
Justin
name.
Wilson?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Cajun guy. So, okay, Justin Wilson. I was watching him, and he did a pork butt. And I think I was maybe a sophomore in high school, which would have been like 92, 93. And it's just like he did this pork butt and he studded it with garlic. I asked my grandma, I was like, can I get a pork butt? And we didn't have a charcoal grill. So I smoked this thing on the gas grill, but I took like chips. Yeah, I know, right? I took chips and stabbed holes in foil, and just used it like that. I mean, it worked out. I mean, and then I decided that there was not a barbecue sauce that I had tasted that was any good. Like
Open Pit wasn't doing it for you?
No, I was a KC Masterpiece guy.
What's the difference?
Yeah. It's just high fructose corn syrup.
Yes, that's right.
So, yep. But yeah, that's, I mean, and through the years, I really enjoyed just cooking outdoors, just being outdoors and throwing those parties, to be honest with you, really kind of set the tone, for what my hospitality career kind of looks like. It's just like I've always wanted to have people enjoy themselves. And I think that, when you bring food into the mix, it just brings a whole nother level of love to, just everything that everything that I can give to the people. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I mean, and I love barbecue, and I've been doing it for a long time. I really have. So.
There's many recipe apps out there. What specific problem were you seeing in the outdoor cooking community that, the hobbyist, the weekender, the pitmaster, current tools and resources, they just weren't solving, leading you to do the Pocket Pitmaster?
There's just nothing out there was comprehensive enough. Like, you can go find a meat volume quantity calculator, online, or you can go ask AI or whatever. But there's nothing there that was all cohesive and put together. The Pocket Pitmaster Pro solves all of that. Like, you can go there, you can check how many numbers of guests, up to 100 guests. You can adjust your serving size. You can pick your meat type. And when I say pick your meat type, I don't mean just, ribs, chicken, brisket. I mean, you can go get some goat, some elk, alligator tail. How about an ostrich fan? Sure. I'll tell you how long you need to cook that. I mean, you can select your pit. So there's offset. I mean, we go Kamado, pellet, gravity, vertical fed, as many as I could I just wanted to get everything that came out of my head into this app that goes with, with barbecue. And the things that I would want to know as a novice, these are all things that I would want to know.
So you've gone to school for culinary. You went to OU as well, not culinary. Are you also a side app developer or IT expert? Like, how? I appreciate you wanting to figure something out and get it to the general public, but like, I want to do that too. But of course, there's this whole middle piece that I don't know how to do to get that rubber to the road. So how do you do that?
I'll tell you what, man. I mean, this is legitimately. I asked God. I said, God, I was like, I need something. I need something that, that I can give to the people. And I woke up the next day and I said, you know what? I said that, and I looked online. I looked up to see if there's barbecue apps. Of course, there are barbecue apps.
Yeah, sure.
But there wasn't anything that was just this cohesive. I am legitimately creating an operational intelligence barbecue platform. So I'm not just, this isn't just like, your timers and things like that. This, like, once I get everything like done, I actually, and I wanted to thank you, by the way. I have to thank you for this.
Oh.
For the Rempe time to done calculator.
Ah, yes.
So when that is 100%, yes, for the Rempe time to done calculator, because you mentioned it to me and I'm like, I mean, that was my aha moment right there. I was like, oh shit. I was like, well, of course people are going to want to know when it's going to be done. So yeah, thank you for that aha moment there. I really appreciate that. So
how are you making the app? Like, how do you do that? I can't just jump on the computer and make an app.
The hell you can't.
No, I can't. I can barely put a live production together. Just go back and listen to the first hour.
I was there. Yeah. No, but I legitimately I learned some coding. I mean, it's kind of on the fly. It was on the fly, legitimately on the fly. And I actually have AI attached to this app. So I refer to it as the barbecue genie. So you got you basically have three grow the community. And I'm putting this out to your listeners now. The app, with the link that we have right now, I want your listeners to go in, and I have a feedback form, and it sends an email directly to me with the feedback from when someone goes through and cooks. So, I mean, I have, a bunch of questions like, what's your experience level, backyard enthusiast up to commercial caterer? What kind of rig do you have? What kind of thermometer are you using? And then like I go to questions about like what I do. So we go through the pit math. Like you get your yield loss and how close was it to that? So it's like 1 to 5. You get the fuel burn off. That's 1 to 5 as well. And then of course there are like the hard questions are the one thing. What do you still guess at during a cook? Like when to wrap, whatever you want to say. What kind of integration would you find most valuable? So I'm pulling all of this information so that in the future I can go in and there's a monitor tab, and I am planning on getting wireless thermometers that I can attach to this, and we can legitimately create a whole barbecue community with monitors and everything.
So these would be Pocket Pitmaster Pro branded thermometers?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I've already been in talks with that, so we're working on that as we speak. So
tariffs not an issue anymore.
Tariffs are always an issue. Yes.
Yes. Wow.
Yes.
And the app is available if I go into my Google Play Store or my Apple App Store. If you had an iPhone, can I get it, or when is launch?
Not at the moment. I will ask you if you would post a link for me. That would be super.
Yeah.
To the app. And just like I said, I'm doing this for I'm going to do it up through March. So anybody that joins the founder circle now, you're going to get like, extra, you're going to get like the blog and the vlogs and all that stuff. And then, basically what I'm doing is I'm taking all the community's information and I'm feeding it back into the app. So we can it's legitimately like a community app, and I love it. It's, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I woke up one day and realized that I think we need this. I think so.
Looking ahead, 12, 24 months from now, what's the next game-changing feature that you're most excited to introduce about Pocket Pitmaster Pro?
Definitely the pit monitor, but also increasing the community. I would like to do basically a community where you can share pictures, and it's just for us barbecue guys. It's not a social media. It's like it's more of a community. Like that's what I'm looking for. I don't want it to be like a whole back and forth thing with like social media and some of those pages. I don't want it to be like that. We all need to be rooting for each other. This meat's expensive. This sport's expensive.
Yeah.
This just everything's expensive. And that's what my app brings to this. Like you're legitimately saving yourself money by using this app.
Do we have, so you're going to send that to me, like, should I be on the lookout within the next week or so? Or is there any, like, drop dead point that you want to have everything, ready to go so you can launch the app?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be next week.
Okay, next week.
Yeah, right. It'll be next week for sure. Yeah, well, like I said, I think I said, of course, I sent you the link originally, but I'll send it back to you. And I definitely would like to get some feedback from everybody. And look, do your worst. Go out on the worst possible day, and it's something that you think that would be absolutely insane to cook, and do it. And just share your feedback with me so that we can make this, the best barbecue app there is. That's it.
Well, we're looking forward to the progress. It's called the Pocket Pitmaster Pro, and the creator is Chris Allerton right here. Chris, appreciate the time here this evening. Looking forward to getting that link, sharing it out, and we'll see how much we can crowdsource help for you. By the way, congratulations on the election into politics and the restaurant as well. So looking forward to getting caught up on all that next time you're in. Appreciate the time tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
You got it. Chris Allerton right there. And he is joining us just south and east of Columbus. By the way, noble restaurant endeavor that he's doing, helping formerly incarcerated ex-cons to get back into the workforce. Good for you. All right. Joe Veazey is in the green room, ready to go. Before we get to him, I will talk to you quickly about McAuliffe Cigars. Step into the world of McAuliffe Cigars, where each blend is a chapter in a grand tale of craftsmanship and passion. Their portfolio is a symphony of flavors, each note carefully composed to create an unforgettable Nicaraguan smoking experience. They have a huge portfolio of cigars, each one better than the next. Of course, we love the Color Series, not only for flavor and the awards that they've won, but because the price point is unbeatable in Robusto, in Toro. They're great. Black, blue, red, purple, green, white's coming out here shortly. In touch with Amanda McAuliffe to try and get her on so we can talk about the launch of the white when that happens. Anyway, McAuliffeCigars.com is the place to go. Use the locator to find a retailer near you. And McAuliffe is spelled MICALLEF, McAuliffeCigars.com. Barbecue maps. Yeah, let's do that next.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Chris Allerton for joining us. Last segment, Pocket Pitmaster Pro. I just dropped the link in the YouTube chat, so go ahead and click that. Give me your feedback if you're so interested. Coming out of the bullpen tonight is an award-winning designer and illustrator based in Atlanta, Georgia. He has worked for such companies and or brands as Adult Swim on the Cartoon Network and as art director for the fashion brand Aze Day Jean-Pierre. The phrase putting it on the map is one thing, but this guy has literally put people and places on a map for a living, and his latest piece pays tribute to the iconic barbecue places across this country. We welcome first-time guest Joe Veazey to the show. Hey, Joe.
How's it going, Greg? Thanks so much for having me on.
Fabulous. Appreciate you making time for the show here this evening. Before we get going, we have a YouTube Would You Rather YouTube poll question of the week, so we're asking everybody, including all guests, would you rather never be able to use search engines again or never use smartphones again?
I'd probably rather never use smartphones again. I'm always
So-
trying to limit my use, and I feel like they're out of hand with what they do now.
55%. Just ticked back up. 55% of the YouTube voting public is in agreement with you and me. We would rather ditch the phone and keep the Googs. Now, I don't know how old you are, but I certainly remember the first 20 plus years of my life having no phone at all or any concept other than like my dad had a car phone that like went on the wheel well, but certainly never thought that would eventually go in my pocket. So I could ditch the phone, I guess, if I had to. Quick background on you before we get into barbecue maps and maybe some of the other stuff. Where you born? Where'd you grow up? And when did you decide that being an artist was going to be your deal?
Yeah, I was born in Fort Myers, Florida, but only lived there a couple of years. Moved to Atlanta probably around, I want to say, first or second grade. So I claim Atlanta, the Atlanta suburbs. And it was pretty much always an artist, was constantly drawing, colored pencils and markers and everything, just nonstop, to the point where it was kind of just known that he's going to be an artist. So finished up high school, kind of would do all the art competitions in school, was hand painting custom sneakers for everybody. And it was just kind of it was very clearly my path.
At that age, do you have a specialty? I mean, it sounds like you're drawing, you're coloring, you're doing sneakers. There's a lot of different things going on. Did you know you were always going to be somebody that was going to be dabbling in a bunch of stuff, or did you think at some point you might hone in on, I'm going to be a painter or an artist this way, or I'm going to do, something else?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I definitely had certain inclinations that kept coming up over and over again, like sometimes humor, sometimes a lot of detail, kind of a playfulness, colorfulness. So it wasn't necessarily a particular medium that I would always want to use, but it was certain traits that were, I guess, just how my personality came out onto the page. So, yeah.
You a guy that loves live fire, barbecue, grilling, or you just love eating it, or both? Cooking?
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually don't do too much barbecuing myself. I try a little bit here and there, and usually doesn't turn out the best. But I'm more of a live fire guy, so I have a fire in my backyard that I'll get together, and grew up camping a lot and loved making a meal over the fire. So that's kind of my thing, but I'm always trying to get more into barbecuing, and it's just something I feel like I'm going to get into as I get older as well.
I mean, you've certainly set a lot of great groundwork for you to get into it, and I'm segueing that into the barbecue map, of course. So I read that you personally visited over 150 restaurants to research this map. And, of course, to me, other than Daniel Vaughn, Texas Monthly's barbecue editor, I don't know a lot of people that are going to that many different places. What was the criteria for a barbecue place to make the final cut on the map?
Yeah, so really hard to set that criteria.
Yeah.
And I knew no matter what I did, people were going to be pissed off, and there was going to be, a hellstorm of emails and whatnot. So I tried to base it on a few things that I thought were really important. One, I definitely factored in longevity. So I tried to give a little more seniority to the places that have been around for a long time. I tried to factor in whether or not they were an institution of their region style. So there's a lot of great Texas style spots all over the country. I tried to put them in when they were like absolutely necessary, but I didn't want to overdo other places' styles in other places. So Atlanta, for instance, Fox Brothers is always at the top of the list. It had to be on there for Atlanta, even though it's not Atlanta or Georgia style. But in general, I tried not to go overboard with different regions. I also went through all of the lists, the national list, Texas Monthly list, as you mentioned, local list, just everything I could read. So if they're mentioned in national list, that was definitely a big plus. And then last but not least was Reddit pages. So I'd go to the big debate pages on what's the best barbecue place in town on any state, any region, any city, and just read through everything and tried to give a little bit of the people's choice to it. And kind of factored all those in, tried to keep my personal opinion down to very small and just get the iconic institutions.
I feel like you should give your personal opinion maybe a little bit more weight, because you end up spending 375 hours physically hand painting this map in a world that is quickly becoming dominated by AI and digital design. Why is it important for you to create this as a physical hand painted artifact?
Yeah, I mean, I got into art and design because I love doing stuff by hand. That if it was all computer, kind of like it is now when I started, I may have not even gone that direction. So for me, if I'm going to spend a lot of time making something kind of detailed and precious, I'm just not going to do it unless I'm making something by hand. It makes it enjoyable. I look forward to it every day. I generally try to spend an hour or two a day working on detailed maps. So doing it by hand is just something I look forward to every day. I'm always excited to do it. I never have to force myself to do it. And anything on the computer, I have to force myself a little bit more to do.
I couldn't imagine like paying 375 hours. I mean, that is a worldwide level of commitment. When you decide you're going to do the barbecue map, are you just in a state of mind of like, this is a project I'm thinking of? Like, how do you start before you actually like get on the canvas and start painting state number one?
Yeah, well, I guess I started with the Atlanta Rap Map was my first project, and it just kind of came to me. It was if I'm going to do a project that's really detailed, which I was doing for clients, and it was really tough to do because, the legal department at the company could come back and make you redraw a whole section, or even if you were doing it digitally, you're still drawing every line with a stylus or with a tablet. So I didn't feel like it was a huge shortcut doing it digitally, and I realized that it wasn't paying a whole lot. You didn't own the rights to it when you were done. So I thought, if I have this urge to create this type of image, let me do it for myself about something I cared about. So I started with the music that I grew up on, and then had a lot of success with that, and started to realize that this had more legs than doing freelance work or anything I'd really done in graphic design. So another day, barbecue just came to mind. It was that's what's next, because I've always loved it. I've always done road trips based around them. Explored and read everything I could on. It's always been just a huge passion of mine. So I thought this will be easy to motivation is there. Yeah. I'll be excited every day to work on this.
How do you know there's an audience for it? I mean, you can be inspired, you can put in the time, but how do you know you're going to be able to turn it?
Yeah, you don't. And the whole time you're working on it, you're wondering if anyone's going to care. So you really have to like it yourself. You really have to care. You know what I mean? And I think the more of these I do, the more I learn. So after the barbecue map, I started doing smaller maps that are half size and that are hand drawn instead of painted. So these I can crank out in less than a month. And I started with the Georgia barbecue map, and North Carolina's coming. I've got a couple others in the works, but I'm cranking these out as many as I can a year. And I think this will be a really good crash course on what do people respond to? What do people get excited about? What goes viral on social media? And will kind of inform my direction of what topics to choose in the future.
You said the barbecue rap map kind of set you on your course for future maps, and you were happy with the success of it. I mean, you don't have to give me exact figures here, but like, are you making tens of thousands of dollars off the rap map, or hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, what's a commercial success for something like that?
Yeah, definitely not 100,000s yet, but I'd say about 6 months ago, I've been doing this full time and able to make it. So nowhere near where I want to get with it, but it's enough to kind of proof of concept and keep going on it. Yeah.
Well, do you expect the barbecue map?
So much to learn.
Yeah, of course. Do you expect the barbecue map to outsell the rap map?
Yeah, I did when I started working on it, because I was just thinking that the Atlanta rap map was so specific to one genre of music in one city of the country, and barbecue is just spreads everywhere. But I think it didn't sell as much right off the bat. I think because the rap map just kind of went viral a little bit harder. It just spread like wildfire. The barbecue map's having a little bit of a slower build, but it's definitely getting out there. And I think that I think the next 5 to 10 years of the barbecue map is just going to go up and up as more people find it and get through the right avenues and continue vending. I go to a lot of festivals in the city and just constantly meeting people out of state that want a copy. So Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey so far, learning what gets it to sell and what gets eyes on it, and just trying something new every week, just day after day.
The map includes a timeline that specifically credits indigenous people of the East Coast and Caribbean with invention of barbecue. Was it a goal of yours to, make sure that you are correcting any non-correct records of barbecue history rather than just focusing on modern celebrity pitmaster?
Yeah, you know what, it was, and I didn't really know the deep history of it like that. And a lot of that came from Robert Moss's basically the textbook of barbecue and all the other writings. I scoured every book I could get my hands on, but yeah, I originally didn't know that it is a Native American invention, and in fact, for about 100 years, it was referred to as cooking in the Indian way, which was really fascinating. And obviously the Europeans came in and brought the vinegar and introduced the hogs and the livestock, and then African Americans brought in flavor profiles and really became the prominent pitmasters for the next couple hundred years and evolved into what it was today. So it's truly an American thing that everybody participated in, everybody still participates in. I think it's a really beautiful thing that it doesn't get credit for.
So I want to throw up a picture of the barbecue map here while we got it. And so if you're interested, I just go to veazeystudio.com and easy enough for me to find, or is there a particular place I want to navigate to my hands on the map?
Yeah, you can just type in AmericanBBQMap.com and it'll link you right there to the Veazey Studio store.
And the layout is very interesting. So you got kings and queens there in the Gulf of Mexico, and you have stories kind of down bordering on the bottom border there, and then of course as we make our way through the various states of the country, you have those restaurants that you decided to spotlight in each of those states. Is it regional that also helps make a restaurant in that particular area? Like if you're in a region of that barbecue, you're going to stand out because, typically, there's a lot of bad things about Ohio. The weather, transient business, nobody's really coming here to hang, the list goes on and on. So I certainly didn't expect to see Cleveland or Ohio on this map, but how does being in a barbecue mecca help somebody get on that map?
Yeah, so there was a lot of hard decisions to make, and decisions that I knew would make some people unhappy, but I had to fight the good fight and make them. So I tried to include any state or city that lays claim to its own authentic, original style of barbecue. So Chicago, Links and Tips, Santa Maria style barbecue is the tri-tip. Ribs in Alabama, Brunswick stew and chopped pork in Georgia. These are areas that have their own signature style. And I try to include every one of those, including some satellite locations like Hawaii and Kansas City. And even Baltimore has something called pit beef that I'd never heard of before. But places, I always say places like Connecticut or Arizona or Ohio have some tremendous barbecue. There's people that are cooking amazing stuff. There's backyard smokers, there's renowned restaurants, Michelin star restaurants in all those states, but it's usually taking its inspiration from the South or from one of those featured regions. And I don't think anybody could really debate that. Now, it's always changing. Barbecue is a living, breathing culture, so new styles will emerge, new regions should be put on the map in the future, and new inventions are being made every day. So it's definitely open to being revised over time, and I look at it as a multi-decade project that I'll just paint new things and Photoshop them in as needed and clear out the closed restaurants and keep it moving.
So for the listeners who are going to grab a print, I think it's also important that they know that you're also supporting in some way the Southern Foodways Alliance with this release. So can you tell us a little bit about why you chose them as a beneficiary?
Yeah, we've been working with them. They're an amazing organization. They've done a lot of work documenting food culture, especially in the South. And I'd used so many of their little documentaries, and they did a bunch of short documentaries and just research that they've done and compiled a lot of informed the map. For the Atlanta Rap Map, I gave a portion of the proceeds to Hope Atlanta, which helped out with with homelessness and hunger in the city. So for the barbecue, I thought it'd be fun to do something more for culture. So awesome organization. They've been great to work with. They've hooked me up with a lot of people and helped to get the word out. So happy to around the year mark, we're going to make a donation to them. Really excited to be able to do that. And I try to have an aspect like that to all the big maps.
Do they invite you to Camp Brisket?
No, I haven't received the invitation yet, but.
Well, they just had it last week in Texas A&M, I believe. So they have it like, I don't know if they have it a couple times a year or once a year, but I know you gotta know somebody in the Southern Foodways Alliance. Or I mean, I just can't go. I would need to get an invite, I believe. So I'll have to figure maybe next year we can leverage the barbecue map. We can both go there together.
Yeah. Well, I corresponded with John T. Edge a little bit, so that was maybe that's a good first start. You know,
a great writer, by the way.
Yeah, very good.
Are you friends with him?
No, just corresponded a little bit through the SFA.
Is he gonna be writing a book on you, maybe?
I don't think so.
No. All right. So what's outside of this? What are some other projects you're working on? I mean, I got to say, before you answer that, you got to be like the most accomplished person I've ever had on the show. Like I go through your about who you've worked with and brands you've worked with. I mean, I fail to come up with other human beings that are professionally as accomplished as you are. So, I mean, humble thanks for showing up here tonight.
Well, that means a lot. I really appreciate it. Yeah, outside of the just promotion of the barbecue map, the Atlanta Rap Map was featured in the #1 current Netflix show in the background in a pivotal shot. So that's kind of what I've been celebrating this week. And then working on a couple of freelance projects. I've started to get some commission map work. So one for a college, and then working on, I haven't announced this yet, but the next map is actually going to be the Atlanta Gentlemen's Club map. So we've gone deep through the wild history of Atlanta strip club scene. And let me tell you, I've uncovered some stories. It's unbelievable.
Wow. Can't imagine what that map's going to look like.
Yeah, and that one I'm going a little more direction of it's almost turning into a Where's Waldo with all the characters, all the celebrities. I mean, Bill Gates was hanging out at the Gold Club, believe it or not, and Madonna and Michael Jordan. It's just insane. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one for sure. It's got a lot of history, and if you're uncovering some stuff that you're excited about, then I'm doubly excited. So if you are interested, by the way, in this barbecue map, visit the website AmericanBBQMap.com and grab yourself a copy. Like, how big is it, and how does it ship to the customer?
Yeah, it's the same exact size as the painting, which I did so you don't lose an ounce of detail. Nothing gets compressed or pixelated or stretched or anything. It's 24 inches by 36, 2 by 3 feet, which is a standard poster size, meaning you can go to Walmart or Target and get a frame for it, unless you want to spend a couple $100 and get a real nice custom framed and matte on it, which I'd recommend. But yeah, it's a nice big poster, takes up some good wall space, and is a real conversation starter in the home.
Where's the original piece at?
It's hanging at home. I got it framed really nice. It's right next to the Rap Map and some of the other originals, and just waiting on the right offer. You know,
how much?
We'll see. I got some vague numbers in mind one day. I think if I can let them sit for a good decade, maybe get a little more clout to my name, maybe I'll make an offer with somebody.
How about $1,000 cash?
Offer denied.
Oh, all right.
Give me a week and come back with a new figure. We'll talk.
You missed 100% of the shots that, come back with a new offer. Don't come back with the same offer. Come back with a new offer. Yeah. All right. I understand. All right. We're talking with Joe Veazey. He has painted the barbecue map, the American barbecue map, which you can buy a copy of or a print of over at his website, or go to the AmericanBBQMap.com website. That'll link you right there, and you can go ahead and grab yourself a copy, 2 feet by 3 feet, which is poster sizes he had just mentioned. So highly recommend you do it. Joe, certainly appreciate the time here tonight. Continued success. And next time you want to come back on and really talk about anything, I'm happy to have you.
I appreciate you having me so much. And hit me up next time you're in Atlanta. We can take that Gentlemen's Club map on a tour.
All right. I will do that. Thanks, Joe. And by do that, I mean I'm never going to do that. Secretly, I would never. Honey, I would never do that. Joe, I'll call you. All right. That is Joe Veazey. Again, the website. So you can go to two websites. You can go to veazeystudio.com, VEAZEY studio.com, or AmericanBBQMap.com. And you can get the print of the map right there by using the link AmericanBBQMap.com. He sounded great, had some great lighting, and his tech guy really hooked him up, which I appreciate. All right, let's get out of here real quick. We'll come back and wrap the show. Stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his opinion than he actually has cooking. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back, and we thank Joe Veazey for joining us last segment, talking about the American BBQ Map, and then, of course, he had the Atlanta Rap Map as well. So if you are into specifically Atlanta Rap or specifically Georgia Barbecue, you can get those as well. All right, let's go ahead and make tracks all the way back in the first hour. It was a nightmare. I actually have editing to do, which... hopefully, if you're listening to this in audio replay, you didn't really notice too much other than it was a little less lengthy in the first hour than normal, but we'll work through that. Programming note, there is a good chance there is no show next week because I will definitely not be in town. But we will be back on the 27th where we will have the CEO and co-founder of the Barbecue World Cup. And then Memphis and May's Kevin Grothy will be in, I believe, the week after that. So looking forward to catching up, meeting the Barbecue World Cup guy and then catching up with Kevin Grothy from Memphis and May. In the second hour, so we had Robert Moss to close the first hour, second hour, Chris Allerton, Pocket Pitmaster Pro, and then closing the show, Joe Veazey from Veazey Studio with the American Barbecue Map. Won't see you next week, but I'll be back. So 2 weeks from tonight, How Do I Always Leave? Is September 11, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American Greg Rempe saying, Shabown! Shabown!
Hi, this is Gene Acasella from Port St. John, Florida, and you're listening to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show.